Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Somebody asked a question. They said, is it still possible to get a car loan from Navy Federal with bad credit and no job? All right. And I'm going to explain to you about the no job. All right. So I'm going to tell you 2 hacks on how to get the car loan from Navy Federal. All right. And then I'm going to tell you another option that you may have that you may choose over Navy Federal. All right. So here's the thing about it. First, in terms of what it takes to get that auto loan. See, most people think that Navy Federal is just handing out auto loans to people with bad credit or whatever. It's not like that. It's all about the relationship. And what I mean by relationship, they're looking at how long you've been with them, and they're looking at how many accounts. All right. Now, most people, they would feel like, well, your internal score does not count. Well, let me help you understand something. Granted, the amount of counts does influence your internal score. Now, they only use the internal score for credit cards. However, the thing about it, by you having multiple accounts with Navy Federal, influences your chance of being approved when you have bad credit for their auto loan. Okay? So it's not because of the internal score, it's because you have multiple accounts, okay, that you have that chance of being approved. Now, the top things that I would tell you you should have with Navy Federal, and when you have bad credit and to get a higher chance of approval when you have bad credit, is that you have direct deposit. Okay. Now, this is where the no job thing comes in that people have been wondering about. All right. So here's the thing about it. If you are self-employed, an entrepreneur or something like that, right? You don't have a regular 9-to-5 job. Okay. So since you don't have a regular 9-to-5 job, the next best thing for you to do is actually set up a registered business. Okay, you set up a registered business. Then what you want to do is have the money that you're being paid from your side hustle and stuff deposited into that business checking account, even if you have it with Navy Federal. Now, I don't recommend you having a business checking account with Navy Federal. It does help for funding, but in terms of helping you build up your business credit file, it does not, because they do not report your business transactions, okay? So you can have an understanding of that. But that being said, the company you set up, once you set that company up, having payroll set up so that way money coming into that company actually cuts you a check, and that check is deposited to Navy Federal. Okay. Now, with Navy Federal, like I said, you don't have to have a job. You just have to show proof of deposits. So that means that if you're on government benefits, if you're on spousal support, okay, child support, okay, depending on the amount of money it is, you still can qualify for an auto loan with Navy Federal without a job. Okay, that's a fact. All right. Now, that being said, another thing in reference to beyond the direct deposit, I would tell you, if you have a low credit score, is make sure you set up the pledge loan. Okay. Now, please understand, you only need one pledge loan. All you need is one pledge loan. All right. That's all you need. And then you can do the pledge loan hack if you want to increase your credit score, and which I would definitely encourage you to do as well. And the reason is because of this last step I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes. Now, here's the thing about it. Once you have that direct deposit, a pledge loan, they have a starter CD. Okay. So with that starter CD, it's about $50, or a money market account. Okay. Having one of those. Now, I would tell you that I also tell you, make sure that the checking account. Now, the checking account, I always tell you, get the flagship checking account. However, if you have the regular checking account with Navy Federal, long as you have 20 monthly transactions with them, that will that's the equivalent of the flagship checking account. Okay, so that you know. Now, I would not, once I have these here accounts and I have bad credit, I would not apply for a car loan right away. I would wait at least 90, 91 days. All right, that's the first step. Step number 2 is that I will not apply online. You do not want to apply online. You want to apply over the phone. That way you can talk to somebody directly. All right. And the reason is, if you're talking to them directly about your financial situation, all right, they usually have more compassion about you. And in terms of, there may be other lenders out there that are probably trying to do a competitive on price for as how much they're willing to give you and stuff like that. You can use that as a negotiation tactic to get a larger amount. Okay, so that's the reason why I would tell you to do it over the phone instead of online. A lot of people just do it online. Do it over the phone when you have bad credit. All right, I promise you, you will have a higher chance of approval. All right, now, number 2 hack with Navy Federal. Listen, many of us know that Navy Federal becomes very generous with their credit cards, giving you a credit card when you have bad credit, 580 credit score, whatever, right? Now, this is what I would do. Looking at the relationships, the amount of accounts you have, if they happen to give you $15,000, $25,000 credit card, all right, now you have the choice. All right, if you don't want to go with the auto loan, which is probably going to have a lower interest rate than the credit card, what you do with the credit card, they approve you for the credit card, take the money from the credit card, transfer it over to their Go prepaid card. Okay, then what you can do with the Go prepaid card, you can get a money order, or because this is like cash now, or you can get a what is that, a certified check. Okay, and then you would still have the same amount of negotiation power to actually get a loan. All right, now that's the second hack. Number 3, like I said, you may have an option other than that. I would probably look at credit unions that I can possibly get a loan from, that I don't have to make payments for at least 90 days. Now, here's the thing about it, that what you can do. There are certain lenders out there, tribal lenders more likely, that probably will give you anywhere from $1,000 up to $50,000. Low credit finance, their platform that they offer loans, okay, from $1,000 up to $50,000, right? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because those type of loans would not report on the credit file. Getting a loan from that platform, taking that loan and paying down your revolving debt from smallest to largest. So look at your smallest revolving debt and paying those down to 0. The reason is your credit score is going to jump up because you're paying down your revolving debt. All right. Now, remember I stated to you about adding authorized users. Okay. Now, in terms of if you have a family member, we also offer authorized user as well as help you structure the business. All right. So that you can get access to more funding. Then some of you all may have already doing your entrepreneurial thing. You can go over to Fair Figure. If you have a registered business already and you have bad credit and you're making at least $2,500 a month, you can go over to Fair Figure and get a loan. Okay, and then take that loan and pay down your revolving debt to help boost up your credit score. Because all you need is at least a 620 for some of the credit cards that from some of the credit unions that I'm about to mention. Okay, and the reason I'm talking about these here credit unions again, because these credit unions, before you make your first payment, they give you 90 days before your first payment. So that would be State Department, Federal Credit Union. They give you 90 days. Chevron Federal Credit Union, they give you 90 days. You have DCU, they give you 60 days. You have Johns Hopkins, they give you 90 days. Okay? So being able to go to one of those credit unions and get a personal loan, all right? Then you can use that personal loan to buy the car, right? So, or you can use that personal loan to pay down the debt. And then once you qualify for a line of credit, so with that line of credit, you can buy the car. And then that way, when you buy the car and just pay down the line of credit, what ends up happening is that you still have access to that money as well. All right. So this is why I tell you, in reference to dealing with Navy Federal and their auto loans and stuff like that, there's not just one situation fits all. And the reason I say that, because I had a person that said they had a 670 credit score. Okay, 670 credit score, and they making almost 80 G's household income, $80,000, and they still wouldn't qualify. And again, I can almost tell you that they did not have multiple accounts with Navy Federal, and they applied too soon. All right, you have to give Navy Federal a chance to actually build a relationship. Now, do they do it sometimes right off the bat? Absolutely. Trust me, it's better if you give them at least 90 days to get yourself in the system. You have multiple accounts. You will have a higher chance, especially when you have bad credit. All right. So I hope this video helped you. If you have any other question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.